Yeah, my name is Sean Murphy, Sean Murphy. I'm a reporter for the AP here in Oklahoma. Um, yeah, so there were the five media witnesses. Kevin Underwood had four witnesses on his behalf: his mother, his cousin, his attorney, and I believe an investigator for the Federal Public Defender's Office, and then the Attorney General, the Governor's representative, I believe an Assistant Attorney General, and five others, nine total for the state. And they were in the viewing room with us. The curtain was lifted at 10:02. The death warrant was read. Underwood was given an opportunity to say his last words, and he said, I would like to apologize again for all the terrible things I did. I hate that I did those things and wish I could take them back. He then apologized to the girl's family and to his own family for the pain that he caused them. And then he added, the decision to execute me on my birthday and 6 days before Christmas was a needlessly cruel thing to do to my family, but I'm very sorry for what I did, and I wish I could take it back. Then he was asked if he was finished with his last words. He said yes. And then the execution began at 10:04. He lifted his head to look at some of his witnesses. He did have a tear in his left eye. His eyes closed at 10:06. I could see the first round of chemicals start to flow at that point. He had slightly hitched breath that continued through 10:07. 10:09, the doctor came in, shook him, and I heard the doctor say, Kevin, can you hear me? And then he was declared unconscious at that point. I could still see some movement of his chest that indicated he was breathing at 10:10, and I could also see the second chemical start to flow at that point. He appeared to stop breathing at 10:11. The color started to drain from his face. The doctor came into the death chamber at 10:14 and checked for a heartbeat, for a pulse, checked his pupils, and then he was declared dead at 10:14. They lowered the curtain. So, any questions?
I'm Nolan Clay with the Oklahoman. That's Nolanclay. I've witnessed a number of executions. This one did seem to go a little quicker. For those who are not in there, he was dressed in a gray top, strapped on the gurney, had the white sheet that covered him from like mid-chest on down to his feet. He did not have, as was noted, he did not have a spiritual advisor in there. And the hitched breath was also observed that in the comments. He spoke in a deliberate, kind of slow way, so you were able to pick up his words pretty accurately. So, any questions?
My name is Reagan Ledbetter, Reagan Ledbetter. I'm with News on 6 in Tulsa. Echo what Nolan said. I've witnessed a number of executions now, and I would say the process seemed to go quicker than usual. The one thing I would note at the beginning of the final words, when he was asked if he had any final words, he kind of made this long sigh, long breath, like he was trying to think what he was going to say. But the tone seemed very remorseful, but also took point about the fact that he was executed on his birthday. As Sean mentioned, just a couple signs of hitched breathing, but other than that, it was a pretty quick process. Yeah, that's about it.
My name is Sam Royka, and I'm with the Norman Transcript. It's SAMROYKA. I agree with what they've said so far. A couple of things. When when we came into the room and they opened the curtain, he looked at all of us, but particularly he looked at his mother. Same thing after his last words, and then also in his last words, there was a pause right after, "I wish I could take them back." After unconsciousness, his hands moved slightly, and so did his lips. And that's what I have. Any questions?
Rick Marinon, R-I-C-K, last name is Marinon, M as in Mary, A-R-A-N as in Nancy, O-N as in Nancy, Fox 23 News, Tulsa. I agree with pretty much everything they have said already. I think those who were seated closer to his feet, we noticed this. He had been declared unconscious. He was laying this way towards me. Now keep in mind he was unconscious, but for some reason, for 2 minutes, his middle finger went up, and it stayed up. And as he, around 10:13, the hand went back to a ball. But it definitely did stick out to us that the middle finger was up and stayed up, but he was unconscious at the time. I think the only other thing I would add is he looked over. I was seated behind his mother. He looked up at her about 2.5 times before he lost consciousness. Everything else is what I witnessed.
Did you see, since you were closest to the mom, did you see whether the mom, did you see her dabbing at her face? Did you see that?
She was crying. There, one of the women in front of me was crying, he looked at her about, I think, 3 times. He kept raising his head. He was. This is how the way we're facing. He intentionally raised his head to look at her at least about 3 times. But everything else we've said has been it. I did notice before consciousness was lost, there was a lot of chest movement, but after consciousness was lost, there was a lot of jaw movement and involuntary hand movement, and that is when the middle finger went up. But again, he was unconscious, and then he died with a balled fist. Any questions? Thank you.